Yes, we're alive.
We are live. Greetings, greetings, greetings.
Yes. Episode 19?
19.
19. Wow.
19 is a number for graduation. You know that, right? It's another step. So I feel like us going into, and I just thought about this just now, like going into this episode, I think we're gonna, it's gonna be a significant something.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, yes, me too. We got this month's theme, this month's topic is it's one that we've been talking about and going deep with, but not the plan that we have for this month is so we're just allowing spirit to kind of guide it. So this is definitely going to be something interesting. So
Absolutely. I'm excited. I'm so excited. Like whatever spirit has for us,
let's do it.
gonna come through. Yes. All right. So welcome everyone. Welcome to Earth School Journey. I am your peer guide, Uni, and this is my lovely co-host, Umi Steph.
What's up? What's up?
Yes. How you doing today, Umi?
I'm good. I am tired. This time change
Yeah.
is doing it to me, man.
We're in the dark. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? We are
Yeah.
literally in the dark, and that's a big, that's where we're going this month to really explore the dark and the darkness as we have, um, you know, kind of differentiated the difference between the two and just really understanding that, this is really a time where we are supposed to rest more, but the way our society has been structured, it doesn't really allow us to do that. We
Right.
had our harvest, we celebrated, we brought everything in, we shared it, you know what I mean? We had our harvest. We're supposed to be able to rest right now, but
Hmm.
again, unfortunately, we've had to adapt, as most species do over time. You have to adapt to, either natural or man-made changes.
Right. Right.
And we're doing that. So, I hope that you are able to lean into this time and, get you some rest and feel good.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it'll come. It's just this transition period is transitions are always hard, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's always hard going from the light again, the light
Hmm.
into the dark. It takes some adjusting, and you know what the thing is too that I realized that a lot of times we expect our or we are expected to kind of just flip a switch,
Yep.
because we could flip a switch on, the light comes on, we turn it off, we open our fridge, we got air fryers now, microwaves, all kinds of things where we can just
Right.
make things happen instantly. I can Google something and get, information that I used to have to go to the library for, but now, sometimes it's hard to kind of like really differentiate between what you can, quickly, do now versus what you got to allow yourself to gradually lean into. So
Hmm.
I am earnestly hoping that you are able to lean into this period and get the rest that you need. And so tonight we are having our homeroom check-in,
Yes.
right? I'm
Yes.
so
Yes.
excited
Yes.
about that.
Yep. I have my agenda in front of me.
Awesome sauce.
Yes. Yes. Oh, so
So,
much to cover.
yeah, yeah. This month, we are talking about the dark as sacred space. We're talking about going deep to uncover what has kind of pushed us into the darkness or what has been pushed into the dark in our lives. We're honoring that space. We are giving reverence to it. We're not necessarily shining a light. So many things tell us to shine a light into, you gotta shine a light. As a Leo, I want to shine a light. Like right now, I'm
Right.
like, this is gonna be a little challenging for me this month, because I want
Yeah.
to shine a light in all the dark spaces, but sometimes it's okay to just sit in the dark. There's so much in the dark that
Mm.
can be uncovered, so much that can be explored. So I'm really excited to spend some time in the dark this month. How about you?
I am looking forward to exploring and finding out what's there. I think that we shove things into the dark, we ignore things, we, push things aside, good and bad, right? And the bad is sometimes holding us back, but also the good that we've shoved aside is also holding us back. And so, I'm really interested in looking at what it is that I don't like to look at. And acknowledging that that's probably going to be a little difficult, and that there may be some challenges that come up in that. So, I'm expecting it to be a month of like deep introspection. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And I am too. Like I said, I like the light. I love the sun. I love, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I'm going to be breathing through this month. I might be calling you or hitting you on the group chat like, Umi, so.
Mhm.
We like to start off each month with homeroom check-in as a way to ground ourselves, as a way to set our intentions and affirmations for the month, and as well as some other things that we'll go into later on. But first, let's start off with our intention and our affirmation. We kind of were talking about this a little earlier, getting aligned, and what would you say is your intention and your affirmation for the month, Umi?
So I gave a lot of thought to this, and I've had a few things kind of rolling around in my head. And we sat down for our pre-meet before, and I finally was able to, I think, get it into words. And so I wrote it down, and it is my intention is to shamelessly retrieve from the darkness anything that needs to be brought to the light.
Mm, I
So
love that. That's
that is my intention.
beautiful. That
Thank
is
you.
beautiful.
Thank you.
And what about your affirmation to support you with that intention?
So my affirmation is my deepest darkness is worthy of light.
Yes, I
So
love that. It is. Oh, I gotta start bringing my some sort of sound with me so I could shake the bell or hit the sound bowl. Like I needed a sound bowl, a chime or something. I love that so much. Um, so for me, I'll say that, and I thought about this, because for me, again, I don't really like the dark. You know, I don't like being out in the dark. I don't like driving in the dark. I don't like, I don't like the dark, right?
Mhm.
So I had to really sit and think like what is the dark for me? So my intention this month is simply to spend more time in the dark.
Mm.
Usually when I go, to the park or even in my house, like I usually have some sort of a light on, you know what I mean, in my home at all times. And even if it's just the light over the stove, I have some sort of light on in the house. And so my intention this month is to spend more time in the dark,
Mhm.
maybe go go to the park and sit in a, of course, a safe area, and maybe sit in the dark at the park. Maybe an area that has some lighting, or it's just a little bit off to the side or something like
Yeah.
that. But I want to spend more time in the dark. And then also my affirmation is my darkness is sacred and fertile ground.
Mm.
And I say that because there's so much to be explored. Like you said, like we've shoved so much stuff there. There's so many things that we have not been allowed to, explore and share of ourselves, from, childhood programming to society programming to church programming to all of these things
Right.
that, we deal with, family programming and so on and so forth. So, there's a lot there that's fertile, and it can be, not only explored, but it can be, utilized for my
Mhm.
growth and my good, So yeah, so that's my affirmation. My darkness is sacred and fertile ground. So I'm really
I
excited this month.
I love that. I love that.
Thank
I
you.
mean, it really, when you think about it, darkness is where fertility is. It's
Mm,
where fertility
mhm,
happens. I mean, in your womb, the womb is dark. There's no
mhm.
light in there, right? That's where conception happens, where a baby is born. When you're growing, you put the seeds in the ground. You know, they there are a few seeds that will germinate with light, but most seeds need the darkness, and they seek the light. They come out of the, into the light. And so I love that. I think that is spot on. It is
Thank
fertile
you.
ground. Let's grow some things, right?
Yes, yes. Let's grow some things. I'm excited. I'm so excited to grow
Yes.
some things. I'm not even gonna, I'm not even gonna hold you. I feel like this season, as I've told you a couple times, I was feeling a little stagnant in Virgo season, a little more so. Well, I'll say I was doing all right in Virgo season. Maybe in Libra season, I got just a little bit stagnant. I was kind of indecisive in my head a bit, but Scorpio season, I'm like, I'm ready. Like, I'm ready to grow. I'm ready to, you know what I mean? I'm ready
Yeah.
to do the thing. Life is gonna always do its thing. There's gonna be things that come up, but I'm just ready to meet new parts of myself and grow in ways that I've never grown before. So I'm really excited to go through this month. And I know we keep saying it, but we really are. Like we are really excited for this month. Like
Yeah.
it's
I mean, we always get excited about our topics because
we
they
do.
come from such a place of inspiration that, like, it's hard not to.
Yeah.
Hard not to be excited and enthusiastic about what we're going to talk about. Not just because it's inspired. I do feel like it is very inspired by spirit, and timely and all of that, but because each time we do this, we uncover things in ourselves, in our lives. Yes, we get on here and talk about things, and we may mention some of them, but like the amount of inner work that goes into producing each of these episodes and the way things just randomly show up, like spirit doesn't play. Like, oh, you want to teach this, you want to talk about we don't even consider ourselves teachers, but you want to talk about these things. Well, here's some experience, here's something genuine for you to go share with people. Here you go.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Listen, it's so funny, like the alignment that happens. We find, different, sometimes our mentors, teachers, people that we look up to, we'll find later on that they're on a similar topic, or they're,
Mhm.
teaching or going through a similar thing, and it's like it's mind blowing. So yeah, I'm very excited to see what comes up this month, and we'll be sharing it with you all for sure.
Definitely. Definitely.
All right, so also, in our homeroom check-in, we like to just gauge our sense of presence. How present have we been? And so I'll shoot that, question at you first, Umi. How present have you been lately?
Um, I think I've been not as grounded in presence as continuously as I would like to be. I find that this has been a busy season, and anytime I'm in a busy season, it becomes harder to stay present, in the present moment. Although I do feel like I have been very actively trying to keep myself grounded in the present moment. Um, it's just so I wouldn't say that I haven't been present. I just want to say that it feels a lot more like work. It feels like I'm working a lot harder to stay in a present, moment, and that is where my challenge kind of is with presence at the moment, is that it's taking a lot more effort to not react to things and not, be in the future or in the past, or all of that. And so, I've been present, just it's just taking me a lot more to get there. you know
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah, I can relate to that. And again, with the seasons changing and with time going back and all of that stuff, like I think all of that is in alignment. Like it's really like we have to again catch up to the present of, like where we are. We're in a new season, we're in a new time, literally, you know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Hmm.
So I think that that makes perfect sense that it may, it just may be taking you a little bit to get there. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, always acknowledging, again, where you are. That's the most important thing, and that's why we do this is to just kind of gauge.
Hmm.
For me, myself, I have to say that I feel like I've been more present than usual. Like I said, in our pre-meeting, like I've been feeling really good lately, and it's because I'm not wallowing in, the past or really worried about the future. Um, there's a little bit there. Like, yeah, I flip back a little bit here and there. I think I had a moment earlier on social media. I kind of posted something and I was like, oh no, I'm gonna take that down. It was a little it
Yeah.
was a little because it was me thinking about the past, really. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, you know what? I'm not gonna feed into that. Instead, I will, continue to honor, where I am right now. And it felt really good to be like, you know what? No, I'm not gonna do that. You know what I mean? It was okay. But yeah, like I said, I feel like I've been mostly present, but I do have some moments where I kind of like slip back a little bit, and
Hmm.
and I think
Yeah.
that's okay because listen, last month again, like I was in my head a lot, so I was probably in the past a lot. You know what
Right.
I mean?
Right.
Versus now, I'm, really leaning into like where I am and
Hmm.
what I've overcome versus um any hurts or pains and really leaning into surrender. Like I had a moment where I was just like, you just gotta surrender and let go and forgive and, just be where you are. Like you have so much still life to live, so
Hmm.
let all that go. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like that's a future topic for us, surrender. that's a whole
yeah,
that's a whole month conversation right there.
it really is.
So
It really
stay
is.
tuned. Stay tuned. You will see that conversation too. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh. So yeah,
So
so I was
go
gonna
ahead.
say, I think it's good that you are aware of where you are with your presence, and
Hmm.
noticing the ebbs and flows. I appreciate that we started doing this, and you had brought it up initially. Like, what do you do in homeroom? You take attendance, right? Attendant. Are you present? Are you not present? And so I love that we have incorporated this into our monthly, homeroom check-ins, because it's a opportunity to pay attention, because it's very easy to not be present. It's very easy to be in worry, doubt, fear of the future, and anger, and unforgiveness about the past and all of that. And so this always gives us an opportunity to come back to, where am I right now, and to remind us going forward to stay in the presence, and stay in the present moment, and use some of those tools we've talked about in the past for bringing yourself back to the moment, this moment. So yeah, go ahead. Let's move on. I know. I could talk about this stuff forever.
No, I love that. I love that. It's a beautiful reminder,
Hmm.
it's a beautiful reminder for people to understand, when you are present versus when you're not. So
Hmm.
definitely thank you so much for just bringing that up and letting everyone know that it's okay to check in with yourself daily, weekly, monthly, hourly.
Hmm.
You could check in, am I present right now? What am I thinking about? Where's my mind?
Yeah.
Where's my head at?
Right.
So absolutely.
I want to say one more thing before we move on about presence, and that's this month particularly is probably really critical, because we're going to give you journal prompts. We're going to be talking about things. It's going to kick stuff up. I think this month specifically, staying in the present moment is really helpful, because as you dig into the depths of the darkness of the things you've shoved away, the things you haven't wanted to look at, the things maybe you put away that you regret, that maybe you didn't nourish a little more, and you know what I mean, that it can be really easy to slip into regret, or to slip into worry about the future. And so maybe we need to do a little more presence check-ins this month.
Yes, look, I love that. As soon as you said that, we were at 22 minutes and 2 seconds,
Oh,
and you know
nice.
how we feel about the
About
two,
the
two,
twos,
twos,
yes.
So that is perfect. We will definitely incorporate that
Yes.
into each weekly episode so that we make sure that we're staying grounded in the present moment. Like you said, going into, the darkness and pulling up things and seeing things, it can throw you for a loop. And so yeah, I love that. Thank you so much for that idea. I love that.
Awesome.
All right. So we are on to the journal prompt section of Homeroom Check-in, and we did put the journal questions in the description this month so that you can, go back and review them, copy them, write them down, and, really take the time to sit with them, take the time to breathe and lean into them, maybe have, a glass of tea with you, maybe light a candle, maybe you want to sit in the dark, with a candle and, and your tea and, and have a moment and allow yourself to, really allow the answers for these questions to come up. Umi, would you like to read the first question?
Certainly. The first journal prompt that we have is, what part of me has been told it's too much, too messy, or too inconvenient? That is, wow. I feel like everybody has something, that they can relate to that question. So that is our first question. And I think, there's so much. I'm a Cancer and I got a Pisces moon. So I'm always told that I feel too much with a cat. Look at this guy.
Yeah.
He's too much.
uh,
So yeah, I would really like to know, like, I would love for everybody to really take this question seriously, and really think back to what you were told you were doing too much, you were too messy, too inconvenient, too much of a, problem. And so yeah, That's a good question.
Yeah, it's a great question. As a Leo sun, oh my God, it just my expression was too much. You know what I mean?
Right.
I remember my uncle would say, "You're so bossy," or "You don't know how you sound." I said, "Please," to me, I sounded just as innocent, and you know what I mean. Like I never thought I sounded, too much, So just, and that's something that a lot of Leo sons, struggle with. Our very self-expression. People want us to sit down, be quiet. You want you're seeking attention. You're making it about you. You're this, you're
Mm-hmm.
that, and it's like, damn, I'm just being me, So, if you're anything like me and, you've had to learn to filter, tone it down, soften up, there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? But there is a space for you to be fully yourself. And, that's what we're getting to is really understanding, you know, find those spaces, find your outlets, find your safe spaces where you can be fully yourself. But first, you got to understand what part of you was told that it was too much, too messy, or
Mm-hmm.
inconvenient.
Yeah. Yeah. I think as a parent, we have a tendency to tell kids, well, I know I say it all the time, you're doing too much. You're doing too much.
Hmm.
Just take a step back. Like, and it's in the interest of teaching them balance, right? Of
Yeah,
you can't go too far this way or too far that way. You need to be balanced. It's just it's often received as
yeah,
I'm too much,
right.
and it's a catch 22 because it's like, how do I teach this and not, and you know, we're all just figuring it out and doing the best that we can. But I'm in thinking about this question, it's like, okay, where have I interpreted that I'm too much?
Mm,
And really that's not necessarily what was meant.
right.
Maybe it was that I was in that moment doing too much, or that I needed to learn to balance it a little better or something like that. And so I think there's a lot of depth to that first question.
There really is. Thank you so much for bringing that up because perception is everything. And I'm a
Mm.
parent too. So there's definitely been times when I have, tried to guide my daughter to find some balance as well. And then I'm like, oh, so I try to explain it and, try to get her to understand where I'm coming from. So yeah, I understand that. I feel like, we don't have any manuals. Our parents didn't have manuals, and you know what I mean? So
Right.
we're all just doing the best that we can. And I respect that so much. Thank you for bringing that up. So the next question or the next journal prompt we have is, what emotions do I silence because they might make others uncomfortable? And what else have I silenced?
Mm. Mm.
Like, can we just sit with that for a moment?
Mm.
What
That's a
emotions have, right?
that's an hour meditation right there.
Alone,
Oh.
alone. And my first thought was, as a woman, as a female, we are taught to but boys and men are too.
Right.
They're taught to silence their emotions as well. So I can't even put it on a gender. Like we're all taught to silence our emotions. We're all silencing so many parts of ourselves. And so, I would urge everyone to really sit with that and think about that.
Mm.
Um, there is something in you that needs to be expressed that you have silenced. I guarantee it. I bet my last dollar that there
Yep.
is something in every one of us that has been silenced. And I love that you added that part because you added that part. What else have I silenced?
Right.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And it's
Yeah.
like, whoa.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was thinking when you posed that question as a journal prompt, I was what immediately came to me was, how certain talents and things that you have as a young kid, you tend to shove them away because of how people made you feel about them. So it is an emotional thing. But like I was a writer and I would always be told that like you're never going to make any money with that. You need to do something that's going to make some money. And I shoved that away. And I was talking to you recently about like how good it feels to be writing again. And I started like writing in earnest again this month, and to how good it feels to express that, to bring that out of the darkness and bring it into the light, to like, and then with it explore the emotions that were around me shoving it away. So that's a journal prompt that can definitely
For sure.
yeah,
For
it'll feel
sure.
too.
Yes, seriously. And I love how again, you have a real-time example. You know what I mean? Going into, November, you were leading up to, for a while, you were saying, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna start writing. November, I'm gonna write. So you already had it in your mind. You were preparing yourself mentally, emotionally, creating space for it,
Mhm.
physically in your life, and now you're doing it and you're like, wow, like the when you were talking the other day, I was just like, I was beaming for you. Like, oh my God, you were so happy. Like, wow. Like I love that you were able to, like you said, just like you said, you brought that out of the darkness back into the light. And look how
Mhm.
great you feel. That's amazing.
Here's a just crazy. I just put this together. When I was in college, my freshman year of college, I took a writing class and we were told to write about something that we had kind of shoved away. And the title of the essay that I wrote was called A Passion in the Dark. And it was all about me not writing.
Wow. Wow. See what I
Yes.
mean?
So,
Wow.
and it just came to me. I hadn't thought about that in years. It just came to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
You knew all along. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? But it took some time, for you to, again, to get set that intention. You were affirming it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It like
Yeah.
you built up that muscle so that you were able to get back to it. So I love that for you. I'm so happy. I can't wait to read the book. You know what I mean? I can't wait. So I'm excited.
All right. So I'm reading.
Yes.
Okay. This one. I mean, they've been all deep so far, but this one right here. Wow. What truth in me feels dangerous to admit? And what might happen if I spoke it softly to myself first?
That's
Yeah,
deep.
I
We
got
gotta sit
nothing.
with that.
I got nothing on
No,
that.
no. Listen, when I was doing research and thinking about these journal prompts, I chose, this one because I felt like just how we feel, just like I read this, the other day, of course. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Did some research, I altered it a little bit, and I'm like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like I still have to sit with it. That's
Mhm.
how deep this is. And so that's why I added it because I feel like, yes, we have, we got, you know, all of these are deep, but I feel like this one may take you there. You may need a cup of like, some grounding tea. Like what's a good grounding tea? Maybe some chamomile or some lavender or something to really like
Yeah, some
anchor
holy
you
basil.
in.
Some
Yeah, the
holy.
holy basil. Yes, something to anchor you in. You know what I mean? Before you answer this one, because you know what? There is something
Mhm.
that feels unsafe for you to admit. It feels it's something that you wouldn't dare admit. You know what I mean? It's something that you wouldn't dare. But guess what? I dare you.
Yeah.
I dare you.
Yes.
I triple double dog dare you to admit the thing that feels unsafe for you to admit.
Hmm.
We're going there this month. We are going there this month. Let me tell you something. The work that we do in the dark is going to show up in the light on
Yes.
the other side.
Yes.
So that's why, I'm a little afraid myself, but I'm like, listen, I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying? I'm
Yep.
trying to shine my light, okay? So I know I gotta go there. I gotta dig it out. I gotta go there. So we're asking y'all to go there with us this month so that we can all shine together. Again, we are your peer guys. We are doing the work with you in real time. We're doing this
Yes.
work too. We've been doing our work. Yes, we're not new to this. We are very true to this, okay? But we're doing this work too, okay? So
Yes.
I'm
Yes, we are.
excited.
Hmm.
All right,
Okay.
so today is a very special day. During our homeroom check-ins, we also like to talk about, um, you know, just shifting gears here, the celebrations and different things going on this month, from sometimes from an astrological standpoint, sometimes from a personal standpoint, sometimes from whatever's going on, in the world. But today's a very special day. Today is a full moon in Taurus. It's a
Yes.
full moon in the sign of Taurus, and if you are on the Vedic side of things, it'll be a full moon in Aries. So, depending on which astrological system you fall in, but let me tell you something that I realized last year during this time, that no matter how you look at it, they both line up. They both line up because within the Vedic system, they have something called nakshatras. And I would guarantee you, I didn't look it up today, I wish I did, but in the Vedic system, I remember distinctly last year, it was a full moon in Taurus, and I was like, you know what, I want to look it up. Let me see how they align from Vedic to Placid, I'm sorry, to tropical. And the nakshatra that the Aries full moon was in last year was like a Taurus nakshatra. So either way, it aligned. You know what I mean? And I'm very certain that if we, looked that up, we would find, something similar. We talked about this a little bit earlier in our pre-meeting, just how we were feeling today. And we even shared some earlier here in the live. This full moon is going to have different effects on everyone, depending on where it falls in your chart, depending on where you are, depending on the aspects to, where it is in your chart and, where you are in your life. But wherever you are, I hope that you are taking time to nourish yourself, love yourself, honor yourself. Taurus rules the throat chakra. Speak your truth. Speak your truth over yourself. Speak your light, to yourself. It also is ruled by Venus. So, it's all about love and comfort. And I ate a little bit more yesterday than I should have. Yeah. So today I was trying to I'm like, okay, I got to balance it out today. So I had a bunch of tea today. But yeah, definitely love on yourself, honor yourself, speak life to yourself today. Also, coming up this month, we have a new moon in Scorpio, which is going to be on November 12th. It'll be a good time for you to set some intentions for going deep within. Scorpio rules the eighth house, which is about, rebirth and transformation, letting go, um, all things of that nature, the occult systems, and just going into the darkness, things that are hidden. Set the intention for anything that is hidden to be made visible to you. You know, would you like to share the other two cycles going on this month, Omi?
I sure will. I was just checking that Scorpio new moon date because I think we may have got it wrong.
Really? Did we?
It's the
Oh,
20th.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah, yep.
Okay.
It's the 20th. I was like, that's too close to the full moon for that to be correct.
No, that's so true. And I'm just like, it
No,
didn't look
no.
right to me
It's a
either, but I was
typo.
rolling.
It's a
Okay.
typo.
I was
It's a
rolling
typo.
with it. It
Nope.
it definitely didn't look right to me, but I was just rolling with it. I'm like, okay.
No, no, I found it. I found it. I was like, let me look this up real quick. I don't want to be giving people bad information. Yeah, it
Thank
says the
you.
new moon in Scorpio is November 19th into the 20th. So, yeah.
Got
De-
it. Thank you
depending
so
on
much
what
for that
coast you're on.
correction. Right.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, and of course, we have a Mercury retrograde coming. So, how fun is that? Uh, oh, I know everybody's afraid of Mercury retrogrades. Retrogrades are really just they're a time to sit back, relax, and reflect. They bring things back up that you maybe haven't dealt with in a while. And with Mercury going retrograde, I think the thing I hear about all the time is, oh, you're going to hear from people you haven't heard from in a long time. They're going to try to communicate with you. And yeah, that's sometimes it. Yeah, sometimes technology goes crazy. Sometimes I don't like to look at Mercury retrograde as something scary. I like to look at it as a time of let's reflect. Let's pull something up again that needs to, because the retrograde is it coming back across its path again and then, before it goes direct again. And so if you're going to backtrack during Mercury retrograde, make it useful. And this one is, let's see, it's going from Sagittarius, I believe, and it's going to eventually go back into Scorpio for a minute and then come back. So, look at your Sag energy, look where it's at in your chart, see where it's fallen. Maybe there's some things you need to look at and uncover. Especially when it hits Scorpio again, which we know has to do with the darkness, which is why we're having this conversation at this time of year. Oh, and then finally we have a Jupiter retrograde in Cancer, my sun sign, on 11/11. I know. I don't know how to feel about that. I don't know how to feel about that. 11/11, Jupiter, the planet of expansion in the planet of a whole lot of emotion, or in the
Oh,
sign, I should say, of a whole lot of emotion in Cancer. So, I mean, I'm guessing there's going to be some collective growth around feelings and emotions and nurturing and caring for one another. And, and individually look at where it is in your chart. For me, it's in the 10th house. So it's going to be a very public thing. I think y'all might see some of it. Let's see how this goes.
oh, that's so funny.
as it crosses my sun, we'll see how that
Right.
how it interacts, how it plays out. I don't know. I don't know. But those are just some things to be aware of that are going energetically. All of these things, they happen on a collective level, but they also happen on a personal level. So there will be collective things that you'll see, especially with Mercury retrograde. Everybody's always like, "Oh, websites have been down a lot anyway lately." There was
They
something with
have.
Amazon Web Services where everything went out for a while. So then it's not even a retrograde yet, but still. So yeah, it's going to happen on a collective level, but it also happens on a personal level. So we give you these things so that you can look at where it's going to happen for you personally and maybe those around you, because I am a chart stalker. So I have everybody's chart in my family. So I'm like, oh, where's this? I try not to do things in anticipation of and maybe in the middle of when things happen. I can look at it and get some guidance on how to deal with certain things. So that's just how I use my astrology to kind of help. Yeah.
That's perfect because you're an astrology student, and so the best way to learn is to have real world examples, so you can, be able to understand it, from a personal perspective, and be able to share that with others, so no,
Hmm.
that's amazing. That's amazing. I do think that it's definitely going to be an interesting month for sure. It's going to be a very interesting month, but I love um, the thought around Jupiter retrograde in Cancer, um, promoting more self-love and love and nurturing of each other
Hmm.
as well. I love
Yeah.
that. I
Yeah.
love that. I want to see that. I
Hmm.
really want to see that. I want to see more of us just being kind to each other and showing up for one another. And yeah, I love that. I'm looking forward
Yeah.
to that.
Yeah. No, me too. I mean, it has the potential to, yes, bring up old wounds, emotional wounds, because we're talking about a retrograde here. And, but with it being Jupiter, there's so much growth and expansion that can happen around bringing that up that it's a beautiful energy to work with. And what I love about being aware of, what's going on in the cosmos is that it allows you to participate in the lesson and get more out of it. It's like being able to take notes, rather than just walking into a class with no, oh, I didn't know we were talking about this today. You know, that's kind of how
Yeah,
I look at it. I mean, this is our school anyway, right?
it is.
So,
It is.
are you showing up to class prepared? Did you do the reading?
Are you? Are you? Are you ready?
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. So, it's all about understanding the collective energy, like you said, and being prepared. And also like kind of not taking everything so personal because
Hmm.
okay, Mercury, Mercury's gonna go retrograde. Websites may be slow. Traffic may be annoying. Maybe some X may show like you just I see people all the time now on the internet since it's become such a popular thing where they're like, yeah, Mercury's, they joke about it now. Mercury's in Gatorade or something, and so
Right.
that's why, so it's like a really funny thing, but just the awareness of it is so dope. You know what I mean? Whereas
Yeah.
before, we didn't even know really about Mercury. Yeah, we learned about the planets in science class, but that was about it. You know what
Hmm.
I mean? We didn't really go any further than that. So understanding that they do, like you said, affect us on a collective level as well as a personal level, and just being aware, you know what I mean, being aware and being careful,
Mm.
that's the whole thing, is like being more careful, because yeah, maybe something may come up, maybe you want to call your ex, you like, wait, it's only because Mercury. Do I really want to call them? Do I really want to call that ex? Maybe not. Let me think about this. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
it helps you be aware and it helps you be careful. And, when it comes to, Jupiter and Cancer with the emotions, it's like you can say, maybe I'm a little emotional because Jupiter's retrograde in Cancer. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
it's going to height. Jupiter expands everything that it touches. So, are you feeling the love? You may feel expansive love. Are you feeling resentment? You may feel expansion on, like it's really about understanding, how these planets affect us. So yeah, I absolutely, um, I'm gonna have my notebook and pen ready. That's all
Right.
I can say. I'm
Yeah.
ready for Earth School. Okay, I'm ready. I'm tired of being unprepared.
Right.
Okay.
Right. I'm tired of walking into a test and being like, you didn't tell us this was happening.
I'm telling you, that's the story of my life. I'm like, wait, where did this come from? I didn't know it was excited. I was getting a test today. No, we
Right.
will be tested this month, and your peer guides are trying to get you prepared. Okay?
We are not administering the test.
No, we're not.
We are taking
We're
it
gonna
from
be tested too. That's the whole part. We're gonna be tested too. We just trying to help you out. We know we gonna be tested. We
right.
trying to help
Right.
you out.
Right.
Okay? So yeah. So next is our sacred announcements. Just a couple of things we want y'all to be on the lookout for. We are working in the background feverishly to, set up some of our community groups. You know, we have a Patreon that's going to be coming. We may have some free offerings such as daily prayers and affirmations collectively, and also some 21-day cycles where we are going to be working with each other with intention to elevate our lives. You know, we are working to bring that to the collective. They say that it takes 21 days to create a new habit. And for us, that means it's 21 days to elevate, 21 days to grow, 21 days to, just be a better person, be a better version than you were yesterday. Yeah, you're doing it every day, but once you hit that 21-day mark, they said you've upgraded, you've leveled up. So we are working on those, and they'll be coming soon. Be on the lookout for that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited for that. That'll allow all of our viewers to kind of be more engaged with us, to take part in some things with us. And yeah, we are working on like figuring out the best platforms to put them on and ways to offer them. Also, how they fit into our lives because it'll require more time from us, things like that. But definitely be on the lookout uh, because we're excited to be able to offer some of these things, these little study groups,
Yes, yes.
so
Listen,
we
we
can be
can't be
ready
at
for the test.
exactly. We can't be at Earth School anymore without studying. And you know what I've realized is that, and I think I've mentioned this before on an earlier episode, is that I love working with groups. I love working collectively. I love
Mhm.
doing something that's going to help me, but it's bigger than me. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? I love
Mhm.
putting my energy with others, and you know what I mean? Like the Care Bears or something. Like, I'm Uni Bear and I'm, you know what I mean? Like, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love that coming together for a purpose that's going to help all of us. So, I'm really excited for that. And yeah, be on the lookout. I think that it's going to be so amazing. And I think that everyone is going to get so much out of it
Mhm.
because, again, we're putting a lot of work into bringing it to you all. And we'd love to connect with you all. We'd love to, be in more community. One thing that we are realizing. With everything that's going on in the world today is how important community is.
Mhm.
I was watching something the other day and they were talking about how they put us in neighborhoods and took away our communities. And I was like, wow, I never thought about that before. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
instead of being a part of a community where, we are, planting and harvesting, we're going through these cycles together. We're neighbors now. We're neighbor, like there's separation in neighborhoods. Like I barely know my neighbors. There's a couple of them I, say hello to, but it's not the same as if I'm, being a part of a community, a collective. And so we want to work on expanding our community and, just sharing our gifts with each other so that we, again, come together for a greater purpose that's going to help all of us. So I'm really excited.
Yeah, me too.
All right, now we're winding down. This is like perfect timing.
Yeah, it goes so fast.
It does go fast.
So
It does go
fast.
fast.
We try to keep it to an hour because like I've seen people who have these 2, 3, 4 hour podcasts, and I watch them. Don't get me wrong, but not in one sitting ever. I have to watch it over like days in order to get it all in. And we want you to have something that is kind of not uh, not just a bite, but not a whole like 5-course meal either. But you're
Right.
satisfied when you get done with it. Um,
Yes.
I'm definitely looking forward to this month. We've got so much that we have been talking about that we are excited to talk to you about. Some of it's a little different. I mean, we're going to talk about Minecraft and how that relates to this topic. Um, Stay tuned. It's interesting. Uh, it's really interesting. I do play Minecraft with my kids on a regular basis. And it just, I don't know, I was in a space and I had some realizations. So that's something that we're going to talk about coming up this month. We're going to talk about, definitely just getting into that darkness and things that we've shoved away and put aside. And oh, what else did we talk about that we were planning on? There's so much. And then we kind of like, we make outlines for these things. And then sometimes there's just so much that we're just like, well, we're just going to throw it all on paper and see what comes out.
Yes. Yes. I think one of the main things that we want to talk about is our perceptions, opinions on shadow work
Yes.
and how we feel about that whole topic. And
Mhm.
so, yeah, I'm excited to talk about that as well. I think we have something interesting to add to the collective, a new, fresh perspective that hopefully may help some people who may have been struggling with the term or the
Shadow
concept
work.
of shadow
Yeah.
work. Yeah.
Definitely. I think that's going to be a good conversation to have. So definitely be on the lookout for that. We'd love for you to be live so you can participate in the conversation. So um share, like, subscribe, join us live on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this month's conversations. I'm going to do some definitely transformative, deep, introspective kind of work. So, oh,
Yes.
I think
Thank
that's
you.
it.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you all so much for joining us as we, traverse, this topic of, the dark as a sacred space and just knowing that the dark is not necessarily opposite of the light. The dark is partnered. It's partnered with the light. It is a um without the light without the darkness there is no light, without the light there is no darkness. But
Yes.
if I did I say how I meant to say, or did I say the both things at this? I can't
No,
remember.
you
I
said
don't
it
know.
right. You
I
said
said
it
it
right.
right.
You said it right.
Okay.
You said
I'm
it
like,
right.
wait. Thank you.
Without the darkness, there is no light. That is the truth. And
Right.
I can't wait to really dive into this conversation because I think people always feel like, well, we have to eradicate the darkness. But if you do that, then what is the light? You know, what's light if everything is light? So it adds that depth and that, you know, mystery and excitement. So let's get into this. We're gonna have fun with this
Yes,
this month.
absolutely. Thank you all so much for joining us. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Peace, blessings, love. We'll see you next time. And we're out.
Yeah.